We are into day 20 of the federal government shutdown, with wide-ranging impacts being felt here, including federal employees, as well as the University of Hawaii. Joining us now to talk about that and other issues in our state is Governor Josh Green. Aloha and good morning, Governor.
Aloha.
Thank you so much for stopping by with us.
Thank you.
What are we feeling most from this government shutdown?
Well, we're feeling the impact of people being out of work. Every week, we lose about 0.1% of our GDP, or 1% every 10 weeks. That's about $120 million a week of economic activity. And you see that translated in people's pocketbooks, but also everywhere. You know, it will resonate across our economy because, for example, fewer people go out to eat. The restaurants will suffer. Fewer people travel in general because the guys in the mainland are also on furlough. So it really affects us quite terribly, and we need this to end. We're encouraging the federal government to reopen. There's some chatter about it reopening in the beginning of November, but no one is fully confident.
And you're headed out to D.C. soon. Are you going to be talking about that?
I will. I'll be there for 2 days of meetings, Thursday and Friday. I'll fly the red eye, and then I'll spend 48 hours with those guys, encouraging them to reopen the government. There is a compromise that's there for the taking. The discussion really is around the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. Right now, they are talking about getting rid of those subsidies, and that's the Republican position. The Democrats are, fighting back against that. But truth be told, that hurts everyone in red states and blue states. We have 25,000 individuals that rely on some of those subsidy supports to be able to afford insurance. Otherwise, that falls to the state. It will hurt rural hospitals. It'll hurt families. So I hope that they will compromise, but I'll try to be a peacemaker.
As far as the University of Hawaii goes, Wendy Hensel said they're paying about $20 million every 2 weeks in salaries with this federal government shutdown. What kind of options do they have right now?
Well, we can help them. We will definitely support the university. I expect to do emergency appropriations to support them. Usually these kind of extra payments from state entities get refunded after a settlement is reached, after the shutdown ends. And it's another reason that I have to have some kind of good rapport when I can with the administration, so that it's not conflict at the governor to executive level. That's just not healthy for us. I disagree deeply with both the shutdown and things like their approach to immigration, but also I'm looking out for our economy, and so we'll try to get that money back to the university.
Speaking of our economy, we have strikes going on right now at healthcare facilities, tariffs, the shutdown, a lot of things that are impacting the economy. What's your level of concern?
It's very high. In the immediate, I'm worried about things like food for people. We have about $60 million of SNAP benefits that could go away if they don't settle this shutdown. I do have a workaround to get most of those dollars back to families that are really struggling, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Really, this is not the way to run a government, kind of off again, on again, constant fighting at the federal level. I'm not blaming anyone that's in Congress per se. I'm just saying they have to work together better, and they got to move past some of these differences. But I'm overall worried that this will send us into a recession. If we have a recession, it means less monies for university services or our hospitals. I'm also going to Washington to negotiate a very large package for the benefit of Hawaii. For example, trying to raise the rates of reimbursement at our healthcare level of $250 million a year. Needless to say, the federal government is pushing very hard on our lands where our bases are. I'm doing my very best to keep them calm and steady. And if they are going to do that, if they're going to use this condemnation provision to, for national security purposes, take our bases back, then I need Hawaii to be supported. They have the legal capacity to do that, so I'm working on a $5 to $10 billion package to help us with energy, to help us at the university level, to help us with cesspools, to help us with food security. All of these things are the many reasons that I have to go fight in D.C.
Speaking of energy, you just took a recent trip to Japan and Okinawa, talked to Japanese leadership about energy there. What was your takeaway?
It was extraordinary. I went to 3 places. I went to Tokyo and put a strategic plan together with a company called JERA, which is the biggest energy company basically in the world. They can help us with our transition to fully renewable energy. A little bit of LNG, a lot of solar, a lot of wind, and we get there over 20 years. That's our goal. That's actually our mandate by 2045. That's going to help us. I'll be at the federal side asking for $1.7 billion of support as part of this plan. I expect that we will probably get that. And then we went down through Osaka. We went to the expo, which was extraordinary. And I think you're seeing pictures with me and Senate President in Okinawa. A lot of it is to bring the Japanese back the best we can. They're down about 12% from pre-COVID levels, and the spend is down about 40%. So that's a big part of our tourism industry. But we did special things. We also signed a special pact with Okinawa on renewable energy because we're totally committed to it. So it is a lot of movement, and I acknowledge that I would personally rather be always at home with Jamie and Sammy and, you know, FaceTiming Maya at college. But right now, these are bumpy times because of the things you mentioned. The shutdown is terrible. The tariffs are dangerous for us. And then just the global economy has been turbulent. Hawaii's going to be okay, but I don't want to see any cuts. If we get to the session, the legislative session, and we see any real pain, we will use some of our rainy day funds. We have $1.58 billion in the rainy day fund, another $170 million in the hurricane relief fund. Rather than ever see people lose jobs at the state level, rather than anyone lose health care or food support and security, we would use a little bit of our rainy day fund with the support of the legislature to make sure that we're okay. But that can't go on forever. Thus, I have to make sure we get some of these deals in place.
One of the sectors in the economy that is doing well and projected to do well is construction. The new Aloha Stadium is part of that. Dana White just said that he wants to see Mark Zuckerberg build an arena in Hawaii. I think he's talking about the new Aloha Stadium. Any conversations in that regard?
Yes, I have private meetings with Mark, and he has been very thoughtful about this. So we would like to see what they built in Las Vegas happen also in Hawaii. They have an extraordinary training facility for UFC and then fight. So I'd like to have a UFC facility on the Aloha Stadium grounds. We're debating that and negotiating that right now. Also, I'd like to have a roof over the stadium if at all possible so we could have fights with, you know, over 25,000 people. That also would be extraordinary. Dana came and gave us $1.2 million for homeless services, and that was extraordinarily generous. I appreciate that to no end, especially on Maui after the Maui wildfire. So as you could see, I'm working with some of these national and global leaders to bring resources here to us because we acknowledge we can't do it alone, but also we should acknowledge that the world wants to participate. There's so much interest in Hawaii. We have to be open to that, to our benefit, and also to share what we can do. We could bring in international friendlies on the World Soccer stage, the pre-Olympic arrangements that we have. Ultimately, NFL football games. I would love to see the 49ers. I'm going to be talking to the 49ers about a special agreement here for Oahu. I'd love to see the Chargers and the Raiders and the Rams all part of this. And all of you guys should then earn the right to play my Steelers someday here.
I was waiting for that one, Gov.
So these are things that are in the future, and we are really pushing hard because, once again, people love Hawaii and they want to be a part of it on some level. I'm just showing them that these are our values, and if you're going to work with us in a thoughtful way. That's the nature of these trips.
All right, Governor Green, thank you so much for stopping by with us and sharing all this information.
Thank you.
Aloha.